Hey everybody, welcome back to Tim Travels. It's Terry, your host, coming at you from the Springfield terminal. Done with class for today. We wrapped up early. We spent some time on the pad just learning. And let me back up. So I've been in trainer training this week, yesterday and today. It has exceeded my expectations. I think that the trainer program is pretty sound. There's been a lot of good information that's been put out. I've certainly learned some stuff, not just about how Prime does stuff, but just more. I learned a few things about my truck, some maybe tricks of the trade or whatever you want to call them. So it's been a pretty positive experience. I've gotten a lot of my truck prepared for a trainee. I don't know if you can see it, but I got a mattress up on the top bunk there. I have never had that before. And trying to get everything organized. I started stowing a lot of stuff under the bunk, like people had mentioned. I still actually have my crock pot on board, but I did get rid of my 2 sets of dumbbells that I had, and of course, since B's not on the truck, I do actually have a dog bowl in the back, but I don't have her big food container and her other bowls and stuff, so I'm able to pare down a little bit. And so I got the truck. I mean, I don't like my truck being that dirty anyway. Like every time I'm home, or even sometimes when I'm just doing laundry at a terminal, I wash all the carpets and everything, or all the rugs that I use in the truck, and sweep it out and stuff. But I did I detailed the inside. I armor-alled everything, and my fridge is pristine. And so I want to make sure that any trainee that I get, I feel like if they, when you have 2 people living in a tiny space, then when people come, their first impression, right? If it's like, man, this is kind of a dirty truck, then it's not going to get any better than that. It's going to just get worse, because now you have 2 people, bringing a little bit of dirt in, making a little bit of a mess, and even if you're like, oh, clean up after yourself, psychologically, it's like, oh, well, he doesn't even care that much, because this place was a wreck when I came. So, and we get our trucks inspected, so they want to make sure that we have a truck that's, clean and sanitary and stuff. So that's all good. And then tomorrow we'll have we basically do our CDL test less the road portion of it. So we'll be doing different parking exercises, but not just parking, because parking's part of the job. So I park semis every day pretty much. But this is teaching to the checkpoints for, the different types of backing, and also we'll be doing the pre-trip and stuff like that. So I think it's super important that I know cold what I need to teach. I guess there's still a possibility that I won't get a PSD student, that I'll just get a TNT student, because apparently there are more TNT students waiting for trainers than there are PSD students. Because I get the feeling that there's some guys that all they want to do is they specialize in PSD, and there's a compensation system, a little bit of a bonus system. So I know that this one guy buys donuts every time he has a student trifecta or completely pass, for those of you not in the Prime lingo, the CDL exam, practical exam, skills test. And so he buys donuts and he just brings them into the back of the classroom that I've been in, and he's done it twice this week. So he, like, that's pretty significant amount of bonus money. I think it's each one of those people that trifected, I think he made in excess of $1,000. So I mean, if you're making $2,000 a week, you can afford the donuts. And then, you know, he get it you know, I would actually say it's almost like selling insurance. Anybody that's ever sold insurance, they know you get a commission when the policy places, or when you do the initial sale. But then there are trailing commissions. So these guys that are doing, you know, just PSD, they can, you know, if you got two, you know, let's say you're averaging 1.5 students a week, and you got all of these people that are trifecta people, then, you know, you're going to make decent money. But then eventually, because of how long people stay with the company or whatever, you're going to start getting what we would call in the insurance industry trailing commissions. So, you know, after a few months, you would start seeing additional weekly trailing commissions as all the students that you've run through start to hit these milestones. So yeah, it could be like highly lucrative. I mean, it's kind of amazing, but you know, it takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of patience to do that training. Now, it wouldn't surprise me to learn that some of these guys are just so adept at it. Like they say on a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m., they're saying the exact same thing as they said a week earlier on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. So they got it down to a science. And as long as those trainees follow their system, bam, every single time they're passing the entire test the first try. You know, they're trifecta. So I think it's a good system. I was skeptical, but I'm warming up to how Prime does it. I'm still not buying into the idea that, oh, well, if you take a TNT student, they might not be any good at stuff, whereas, you know, because you don't know who trained them. But if you train them through PSD, they're going to be better. You know, I don't know about that, because this is a thing that, yeah, you get some muscle memory, but I can tell you from personal experience, there are days when I'm just backing this truck up like, you know, I was born in this cab. And then there are other days where I got to pull up like 6 times to get the trailer where I want it to be. So, you know, even if I bring somebody through PSD, there's no guarantees that once we get out on the road and they already have their CDL, that they're not going to regress. Because all the people you see, well, the vast majority of the people you see doing crazy shit on the highways have a CDL, you know? So, and varying levels of experience. And actually, one thing I learned in my class this week was that the people most likely to get in wrecks on the highway are people with 3 to 5 years of trucking experience, right? So they think they've seen it all, they get cocky, and, you know, next thing you know, they're in a ditch. So it's, you know, as I've said before, you're only as good as your last safe mile. And so I don't know if I buy that if you took them through PSD, they'll be trained the way you want to train them. Because a lot of these guys, they know that they're not going to make any kind of real money until they get that CDL. But it doesn't mean that they won't fall back into bad habits. Now, obviously, you'll be with them, but you might be sleeping when they are falling into these bad habits. I mean, think about it. how many 16-year-olds are texting while driving while taking their driver's license test? Pretty much zero, okay? So they know the right way to do it, and they demonstrate it for the test. But then, 4 months later, they think they're like, Mario Andretti or, Jimmy Johnson or whatever, and they can handle anything, and they're, texting, they got, their friends in the car, they're driving way over the speed limit, and next thing you know, they're having an unhealthy relationship with a big ass tree. So I've been around a lot of training over the years, and so I'm not exactly convinced that just because I train somebody in the initial phase, that when we get to the second phase, they're gonna perform the way I trained them. So anyway, I just wanted to give everybody an update. Hopefully I'll test out tomorrow. Then I got a safety class first thing Friday morning, and then I think I'll find out who I'm paired up with tomorrow at some point, and we'll see if that pairing makes sense for all concerned. And then I got this safety class I'm taking first thing Friday morning, and so I guess the goal would be, maybe we'll get on the road either, Friday night or Saturday morning and start doing the job. Now, if I got a PSD student, I might stay the entire weekend through Labor Day here in Springfield and just work on the pad. We'll have to see. And because I do want to get anybody I have tested quickly, and then just get on the road, and we'll probably be doing, total of maybe, 12 to 14 hours of driving a day. We certainly won't do more than 14 because of my clock, if it's a PSD student, but we'll see. So I'll keep you updated. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you next time, and I'll let you know how things go and start this new venture. So anyway, take care. There's some crazy flooding in the mid-Atlantic. There's tornadoes in Maryland. Maryland doesn't get a lot of tornadoes, but there have been towns. La Plata, Maryland was wiped out. It's probably been like 15 or more years now, maybe even longer. But that town was leveled by a tornado. It's down in southern Maryland. So tornadoes are not like super common in Maryland, but there was a tornado north of there in Anne Arundel County today. There's flooding. Frederick County, Maryland's got, they had to rescue kids out of a school bus. So everywhere has got problems. It really does seem like that. It seems like only maybe the upper Midwest doesn't have some huge issues right now with weather. So anyway, be safe out there, and we'll see you next time on Tim Travels. Bye.